Okay, rock sliders, 6th of July, I just wrapped up my testing for the new Maven S.2 against the Nikon Fieldscope. The Maven is a 12 to 27 by 56. The Nikon is a 13 to 30 by 50. I spent about 4 hours with the optics today, ran them through 9 different tests, and this is what I came up with. As far as the weight goes, the Nikon is 14 ounces lighter. That's significant. But they're both compact scopes. The Nikon is 9 inches long. The Maven is 11 inches long. In depth of field, I tested it at 1,018 yards, and I would focus on an object, and then I would look at an object that was at 95 yards without touching the focus knob, and the Nikon beat the Swirl by a margin. It was noticeable. As far as field of view went, this is one reason I test optics. The field of view is actually listed better in the Nikon, but the Maven beat it. And that's why I test optics right there, to see what my eyes see. So the field of view was better in the Maven by a margin. In edge-to-edge clarity, the Maven also beat the Nikon. In eye relief, both did really well. There was no problem without using eyeglasses, but once I put eyeglasses on, you would have to go with the Mavens if you were wearing glasses. It was just not enough there for the Nikons. On the twilight test, I just completed that tonight. That's why it's so dark right now. And this was done on a 1951 U.S. Air Force optics resolving power chart at 75 yards. And I put them side by side, and I waited till after legal sunset and looked through both scopes until I could no longer resolve the largest element within the largest group. And the winner was the Maven by 56 seconds. That was the only difference that there was, but that would translate into being on the mountain longer, you know, being able to see a little bit past dark, so that's going to be significant to some people. If you hear gunshots, it's because it's July 6th and my neighbors still think it's Independence Day. On the resolving chart on midday, I always do it midday as well. That was a tie. There was no discernible difference between the two at midday. I also have a mounted buck that I use on these optics comparison tests, and I take him up in the hills. My friend's got some property. I can hang him on a fence. I can get back at 235 yards, and I looked at them both side by side, and the buck has a couple of cheaters that are just about 2 inches long, and again it was a tie. Both of them could resolve that cheater at 235 yards on that buck, no problem. Chromatic aberration, I don't talk about it a lot because I'm colorblind, red-green colorblind, and so I would only see it if it was really bad. I didn't see it in either optic, and that's just color fringing that you get through too much dispersion. I didn't see anything like that in either optic, but I'm not so sure I would see it unless it was really bad, so keep that in mind. On ergonomics aren't a big deal on spotters because you're not holding them, so I just put that at a tie. You know, they're both fine. The focus knob on the Maven was a little stiffer. Just took a little more the power knob, not the focus knob. The power knob's a little stiffer. Took a little more getting used to, but really not a deal breaker at all. The price difference, the Mavens are $950 and the Nikons are $829, so what's that, $120 price difference? Well, there goes some more bombs going off. So both scopes scored well. I know they're neck and neck. The Maven has better field of view, edge-to-edge clarity, eye relief, and twilight performance. The Nikon had better depth of field, and the price, obviously $120, $130 less. But a big deal on it is it's 14 ounces lighter. That's almost a pound. And so I would say if you're an ounce counter, that small difference between field of view, edge-to-edge clarity, eye relief, and twilight performance is probably going to be a good trade-off for just having a very small light scope. But if 14 ounces isn't a big deal, especially if you're like a day hunter, you know, stuff like that, coming back to camp at night, I think you'd be really happy with that Maven. So sorry about all the bombs going off out here, but anyways, that's my test for the Maven versus the Nikon. If you want to ask more questions, there'll be a thread on this Maven on Rockslide. Tony Treach is actually going to be hunting with this. I'm getting ready to send it to him, and so he'll be giving some more feedback on that. I will have a Q&A thread on the Nikon as well. Just look for it in the comments below this video and you'll see it. You can jump over to Rockslide. It's free to join. I get to those questions a lot faster on Rockslide than I do on YouTube. So I hope that helps y'all. Thanks for coming out for the review.